G'day. Thought that it was high time I did a video on my lovely Acer CRT monitor. Of course, this monitor's featured quite heavily on my YouTube channel, but alongside other computers, but never done a video on just the monitor. So thought that would be worth doing. So I'm going to talk about specs, and then I'll turn the monitor on and show it. So specs, it's a 14-inch monitor. Maximum factory default resolution is 1024x768. As far as CRT monitors go, it's not a particularly high resolution CRT monitor, but I imagine that's probably one of the sort of the trade-offs for a smaller monitor that would have easily fitted on your desk. So that was the main reason why I chose this monitor. Was because it wasn't something that would be that heavy or that big, so I wouldn't need to break my back every time I moved it on or off my desk whenever I was using the Pentium 75 Olivetti or my Pentium 200 system or the Celeron or anything like that. But either way, as for front panel controls, it's there's 8 LEDs, 2 sets of buttons, select and adjust. From left to right, the options here are brightness, contrast, horizontal size, horizontal position, vertical size, vertical position, pincushion distortion, and trapezoid. So the way this works is the select buttons cycle through all of the options. So you press select, and then one of the LEDs would light up, and then when the LED lights up, the adjust buttons are used to adjust the corresponding option that's lit up. So if the brightness LED was lit up, then I'd hit adjust up or down to increase or decrease the brightness. Got this thing second hand. Paid about $60 Australian dollars. $60 as of September 2020. So that's for inflation if you watch this video years and years into the future and things change, but as of September 2020, $65. So, no, not 65, $60. It was being sold for $65 on Gumtree, but I got it for $60. So, yeah, $5 discount because there's also something else that we're buying along with it. There's a main board for a computer or something that didn't actually end up working, but either way, of course, there might be CRT flicker, so I imagine you would have guessed that by now, but either way, if that affects you in any way, then proceed with caution. Didn't actually degauss that time. I was hoping it would, but either way. Was was using it before, so I guess it sort of decided that it was off for a short enough time that it didn't need to degauss again. But either way. Speaking of degaussing, there's no manual way to degauss this monitor. There's no option to manually degauss it. Because as far as things go here, there's no OSD whatsoever. Not even a no signal screen. But yeah, that's how that works, and yeah. So very primitive. Probably even was even for the time, but either way, there's that. Of course, it chose a darker wallpaper on here, so I didn't throw the exposure settings out of whack. So yeah, when you finished adjusting the options, I think the LED stays lit up for about 20 seconds, and then it will go into, and then it will flash all the LEDs before they will go off. I found out that it actually writes the settings that you've adjusted when it flashes all the LEDs. So if I was to turn off the monitor, I'll just demonstrate and see if I can actually get this to happen. If I turn it off now, lovely crackle of CRT discharging. Wasn't all that much static on the screen that time, but either way, turn it back on. See, it didn't actually save that setting. But if I was to adjust it back to that again, then wait a little while for it to time out. Any second now. There we go. That theoretically should have written that to the microcontroller that this monitor has. I've turned it back on now. There it is, back to how I had it set. So it's how I had it set. So anyway, I'm gonna turn it back to that. Yeah. One of the, I guess you could say, one of the gripes I have with the monitor is, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be visible on camera. It's not that easy to see. But, see if zooming in. Yeah, it sort of is visible. You can sort of see the start button. If you look around the start button, you can see that the monitor sort of has a bit of a blooming problem. See that it's not, the image doesn't consistently stay the same shape and size. See it's sort of bulging out on the side as well. Either way, that's the only real gripe I have with the monitor. But I guess I also kind of wish it could handle high resolutions. But as I said again, that's the sacrifice you'd make for having a smaller monitor. So the resolution handles sort of kind of, in a way, kind of almost outweighs the size, but that's something I'm not fussed about. The only problem I have is blooming problem that this has, which is high voltage regulation related. But either way, it can do 800 x 600 at 85 hertz, and I just realised that's a bit flickery. So yeah, that's 85 hertz. I think go to advanced, and adapter, list all modes. I can actually set it to 100 hertz at 640 by 480. There we go. There we go. And then the picture is not flickery. And one thing I should mention is that mouse cursor movement on here is very, very smooth. Running at 100 hertz, just the whole monitor looks very smooth. So yeah, because you can see the it's actually not that visible on camera, but either way, there's massive. It's not really massive, but there is a noticeable change in size on the image. But yeah, as I said before, that's the only thing that I don't. The only thing that irritates me about the monitor. Everything else is fine. Yeah, of course, I'm using it as a. Well, it's meant to be used. I sort of intended it to be used as a monitor for retro gaming, but of course, don't actually know whether that's going to do the right thing or not. I don't want to run this at 100 hertz at 1024x768, so I think I might just do it in this way. There we go. At 1024x768. So yeah, as far as the monitor goes, the only real gripe I have is just that blooming or high voltage regulation problem. So yeah, apart from that, you know, it's CRT monitor, it's retro, it's cool. Yeah, the main intended purpose for this is being used with retro computers. So the resolution doesn't really matter, but I'm not going to be running it at 1024x768 on a retro computer. Of course, I'm going to be running it at 800x600, in which case I can get 75 or 85 hertz. So, and then even with the game, it's going to be even lower resolution. So, yeah, I play old DOS games on this, and yeah, it's an absolutely awesome monitor for that. So, yeah, also nice and compact as well. It's not massive, as I said before. It's not, you know, I didn't particularly want to get a massive 19 or 21 inch CRT monitor, but yeah, the only monitor I'd get that would be bigger than 17 inch would probably be the what do you call it? Sony FW900. It's a 24 inch 16 to 10 CRT monitor. But either way, yeah, that thing would be massive, it would be heavy. So yeah, in a way, probably more trouble than it'd be worth. But this monitor isn't in any way. It's light, it's easy to pick up. If I need to move it, if I want to move it from place to place, it's yeah. When I first got it, it turned on, it worked first time. So yeah, as I mentioned before, the only gripe is just the change in size and shape, the slight change in size and shape from a light background to a dark background. But I guess if I kind of poke around in there, I might be able to fix it. But yeah, it's probably something that could be fixed either way. So I'll just have to look into it more. But either way, yeah. So that concludes the video on the Acer CRT monitor. Yeah. In terms of colours, I'll set the wallpaper to Bliss. Of course, the camera doesn't really give a good picture of it, but in person, the colours on the monitor have beaten out any LCD monitor or LCD display that I've owned. Even some of the better ones. Even some of the IPS panels, it's still been better. So, yeah. So yeah, that's saying something for this monitor, or not for this monitor, but just CRTs in general. Of course, being an older technology, but having superior color quality, color reproduction compared to LCDs. But yeah. So yeah, this monitor was sort of probably more of a budget monitor, but it's still better than quite a few sort of mid-range to high-end LCD panels I've worked with. So yeah, that really does say something about advancements in technology. But either way, hope this is interesting enough. So yeah, thanks for watching.